a certified professional badass, Jade Masson Wong.
My name is Jade Masson Wong. I'm a Canadian, French-Canadian, and I'm a professional fighter in bare knuckle. Everything I do it because I want and because I feel I need to do it. The rest is following. I just do what I like, what I love in life, and if people like what I do, they follow. But I don't put pressure on me with that.
Bring the right hand. Big right hand from Jade Masson Wong. Oh, man, that was a left hand overhand right, and another. Jade Masson Wong.
I love it. I knew it. When I saw that line, I was like, this is a person that I got to have on the podcast. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of No Limits with Dr. Thierry Jacquemin. Today, my friends, I have not just a guest. I have quite the guest. I have a certified professional badass, Jade Masson Wong. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
We're going to have quite the podcast for you guys. For those of you who don't know, if you don't know, ask somebody who knows and they'll know, okay? But if you don't know, Jade is a bare knuckle fighter with BKFC. We're going to talk a little bit about her recent experiences. We're going to talk about what's coming, what's been, where you're going. What's going on with you? Welcome. First of all, welcome to Miami. Welcome to South Florida, too.
Thank you.
Because it's a new thing for you. I mean, you've been back and forth.
Yes, exactly.
But now you're like
years,
here.
Now I just moved 3 weeks ago. I bought a house in Pompano.
Yeah.
And but I was already doing back and forth since 4 years. But yes, it's new that I'm here full time now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What prompted the move officially? Is like business, was pleasure, it was both?
Everything. My career, sport for sure, because there's so much more opportunity here than me. I'm from Quebec, and Quebec City, exactly. So it's really small, and just for bare knuckle fights, it's illegal in Canada. So I just fought one time in Canada. It was in Edmonton, in Alberta, but it was on an Indian reserve because it's a gray zone.
Yeah, of course.
So it's not legal. And here they do often events at the Hard Rock. I already fought one time there. So for sure, my sport, after everything I like, I have a motorcycle here. I can ride all the year. So there's many things that brought me here.
Yeah. I mean, for anybody that has some kind of like free thinking, free spirit that you say, I want to do what I want to do, how I want to do it.
Exactly, yeah.
There's a really good place for that.
And here, I think it's the best place for everything because, yes, there's a lot of people from everywhere, a lot of different thinking, and like it's really open mind. People have seen a lot of things here. And me in Quebec, I was feeling that I was... people were judging me too. So here I feel more at my place.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. You've had a few fights already in bare knuckle fighting. I know you had some MMA fights before also.
Yeah.
At what point, I'm always fascinated by that. I'm about the moment, right? Like the moment where you make a decision, okay, like this is what I'm going to do for a living. This is what I'm going to do for my career. When did you know deep down that there was a fighter in you?
Since I'm a teenager, because I started to fight in the street, so that's how I started, bare knuckle already.
Yeah.
But like me, what keeps me like why I fight is because I love adrenaline, and I need to have that. If I'm not taking it in the fight, I will take it in maybe something else bad. So
Yeah.
and like fighting, yes, people say that it's dangerous. For sure, like the fight can be dangerous, but like all the process, my lifestyle, I sleep good, I eat good, I train hard, so all the rest is really good, and that's what keeps me on track. So yes, I started like because I had problem when I was teenager,
Yeah.
and after I subscribed to a MMA gym when I was 18.
Mhm.
And I did one amateur fight in kickboxing. And after that, I knew I would be professional because I had I really loved that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you knew.
Yeah,
You
exactly. I
knew.
knew. Yeah.
So total, you had one fight in kickboxing. You had more than a couple fights
I
in
have
MMA.
like professional, I have 5 professional MMA.
Yeah.
I have 1 boxing and I have 5 bare knuckle. But I have more than 10 in amateur too.
Yeah.
That I did kickboxing, Muay Thai, grappling, so a lot of stuff. But yeah, now I'm doing bare knuckle, but I want to do at the same time boxing too.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think it just can be good for me. So it's more tools in my thing, and like I don't think I will come back in MMA because now since I've signed with bare knuckle, I just train boxing. So
Of course.
come back MMA, I have to do grappling and everything? So it's a lot of time I will have to put in that my head now is just focused on boxing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's the time that you have to devote to each discipline. But then where a lot of people falter in MMA is then you also have to work at integrating those modalities, which not everybody does, right?
Yeah.
To like make your brain sort of switch back and forth, right?
Yeah.
On a whim, like from one moment to another,
Yeah.
to another, to another.
Yeah.
So fundamentally, you'll tell me if I'm wrong, but fundamentally, I mean, the training, if you're going to train for a boxing event or if you're going to train for a bare knuckle fight, training is
But first the MMA training, it's yeah, for me a lot more work. Like sometimes I had 3 trainings in a day.
yeah.
Everything, the discipline plus the conditioning plus everything. And like switching, for like boxing fight, just the stand is different than MMA. I have to think like maybe okay, he's gonna do a knee or something, so I cannot say like do the same thing that I do in box, like put my head as down as that because maybe I'm gonna have a kick in the face.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of
so
course.
yes, but some people I see that they do, but like it's they cannot win all because it's it's to the mind. You have to train. It's hard to train for every kind.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've not met. I mean, that's obviously like a common feature in high-level athletes across the board, right? Which is something that I study deeply on a daily basis, just because of that mindset, performance-wise, and so on. But I've not met one MMA fighter who isn't perpetually overtrained and overstressed, just from the volume. You know? Just from the volume alone. I mean, yeah, of course, you need volume for mastery.
Yeah.
You need volume for progress. All of that, sure.
Yeah.
But there is a point.
Yeah.
There is a point where it's too much, and then you have injury after injury after injury, and so forth. You know.
Mm-hmm.
What's next for you? What's the next? Do you have a fight in the books currently? Are you waiting? I know
I'm
there was
waiting.
one that maybe was going to come about, and then come about.
I'm
So I hear. You know?
like I've told you earlier. Like
Yeah.
yes, I'm waiting news from bare knuckle. The things that my last fight, I fought for the belt at 125, and I did the split decision with the champion. So I would like the rematch, but they don't want to give me a rematch now. So they offered me one of your guests before. But finally, they don't want this fight. So, like, I'm still waiting. Every day, I'm in contact with them. And we are talking now for Sturgis in August. It's against Beck Rawlins. She's the number 3 in my weight class. Me, I'm the number 1. So, but I don't have the confirmation yet. So, they told me in August. So, we are now in April. So, it's long.
Yeah.
And my last fight was in September. So, like, it's it's
Yeah,
long.
for sure.
So I'm looking for a boxing fight too, waiting for the next bare knuckle.
Yeah.
I was supposed to fight maybe at the end of April here in Miami at the 11, but finally we didn't agree on few points.
Yeah.
So I'm still waiting.
Okay. The last boxing event they had at 11 was a big event. It's really picked up a lot of steam, you know?
Yeah. What was the
Oh, there were a couple of fights they put together. ISIS fought a couple of the people. I think there was like a grappling match, and then one or two.
I
Yeah.
saw ISIS. They offered me her to fight in boxing. So yes, that's her I was supposed to fight at the end of April, but it's about the purse that we didn't agree.
Yeah.
But like yes, but maybe I will have her fight her soon. I don't know.
Ideally, I mean, obviously, it depends on how you recover post each fight and everything else. But what's an ideal fight number per year for you? Like a couple fights a year, once a year, 3 times a year. Of course, it's going to depend on the kind of fight and how, what kind of damage you take or don't take and all this. But like in an ideal world, what's your desired number?
3 fights.
Yeah.
Because it's around 2 months every training camp. And I don't want to be on a training camp all year because
For sure.
I still like to eat what I want and not be on the diet.
Yeah.
But yes, I think 3 is ideal for me.
Yeah. What's your average weight cut?
I walk around 140, 142 pounds, and I fight at 125. So, but like, I'm 5'4". I'm not the tallest in my division. I almost always fight against a taller girl, but I'm really muscular. So I cut normally in diet. I arrived the fight week at 137 the Monday, and I cut around 8 to 10 pounds in dehydration.
So it's not a rough, horrible cut.
No, but like with it's still not good, and for the percentage of my body, 10 pounds it's not too good.
I don't know for sure, because a lot of that is fluid weight, obviously.
Yeah.
A lot. I mean, as I'm sure you know, that's continues to come under a lot of heavy criticism, right? The extent to which fighters have to go through weight cuts, and whether that contributes to, which for sure there's evidence that it does, but whether it contributes to a higher index of injuries. Both muscular injuries, because obviously there's some dehydration, your stress hormones are spiking because you're about to fight, but also because you've gone through dehydration and you've gone through camp and caloric restriction and all this other stuff. And then even from the standpoint of brain injury, a lot has been said with that, right? Like, because you have a little bit less volume to protect during that moment, right? So like you're a lot more likely to get rocked from a punch during a fight after going through all of that than you are, a couple months before that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Tell me about what's Jade like as a 10-year-old?
What Jade likes at 10?
Yeah, what were you like as a kid, before teens, before everything else?
I was always a sportive girl. I did the gymnastic, competition when I was 9 to 12 years old. I did that, and everything I do, I go all in. So
not surprised. Not surprised.
Yeah. So that's what I liked. I've tried many sports, but I found me in the combat sport. But I was really shy. When I was young, I was really shy, and I think the combat sport helped me to get out of that. And yes, I was really good at school, but I always been I wanted to be. I don't know how to say it in English là.
Say it in French. En français.
En français. Quand j'étais petite, thanatologue. Like I like gore thing, like blood. I did 2 years in paramedic class. I wanted to, I don't know what is the word thanatologue in English, like the croque-mort. People who work on the dead body for the funeral.
Of
So
course, of
yeah.
course, of
So
course.
I always had
A
this.
mortician.
I think. So I always had like this a little weird side.
Well, for those who don't know, I have to say this. We're gonna later, obviously, link your profile because I want people to see it. I want people to follow you and everything else. But looking through your profile back and forth, because obviously we've been talking back and forth about doing this podcast. But the first line, there's a name and all of that, and then the first thing, the first thing is, favorite colors, red blood.
Red blood.
I read that. I was like, holy shit. I love it. I knew it. But I saw that line. I was like, this is a person that I got to have on the podcast.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And that's true. That's my favorite color.
Yeah. So how did the evil smile nickname come about?
Because I'm always happy when I go in the cage or in the ring. But I see, people sometimes are stressed or they need to focus. But me, I feel like when I enter in the ring, like I'm lucky to live this moment because there's a lot of people who maybe I would like or not to be in my place or just like to have the guts to do it, to like live those kind of life. So I appreciate this moment when I enter in the ring. So that's why I look around and I'm really happy and I always smile. Yeah, that's why.
I that couldn't ring more true for me, right? So I'm a big believer in this idea, right? Better to live like a lion, and every once in a while you have to deal with some fucked up stuff, than to be a sheep and have no stress, no worries.
Exactly.
Until somebody takes you out and you don't even see it coming,
Exactly.
I've told somebody, I forgot on what episode, but it was on some episode, I already mentioned this, but I'm going to say it again. When you walk into my house, there's a big wall. You open a door, the first thing you see is big white wall. And the first thing you see is a poster that says, pressure is a privilege. Because exactly that. What you get to do, you have to deal with stress, you have to manage all of that stuff, but you're putting yourself on the line.
Yes.
And a lot of people forget to do that.
Yeah.
A lot of people just wake up, go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep, but nothing happens.
Yeah, exactly. They are on those standard. So they always just live like that. But I don't have limits. I don't want no limits in my life. But yes, there's limit in the society. But like sometimes I go, that's why I can reach some high, some big high. But yes, when it go bad too, I have big down. But like what I live, it's intense. And I feel alive with that.
That I know. I know. Tell me about what's the process like for you after a fight, after a loss, especially. How quickly do you mentally shift and go, it's done, it's over, next one? What happens in your brain when you're going through that?
For me, like every loss I have, I still have like something. I cannot just pass over that because all my loss, I want to have a rematch with that to go over that.
Yeah.
But like I think what I need to do for me first is to rewatch the fight, like to know, because after the fight, there's a lot of people talking, but I have to do my own idea and look the fight and see how my perception.
Yeah.
Because I can hear the coach or I can hear like people on the social media, but like I need by myself to be able to go over that. And after, it's still going to be there until I beat her. But time I work exactly with when I rewatch the fight, I try to correct what I did good. But just life continue and we cannot win all, and it's the part of the game.
So it's more, you would say it's more like a rational process, not an emotional process.
but
I mean, there's some emotion because
Yeah.
obviously, like you went through what you went
yeah,
through.
yeah, yeah. Normally after every loss, I cry the night, because it's so much effort, so
Yeah.
much time, and for sure, I have me when I train, I think I'm gonna win. I never think like I go there because I'm confident, and
Yeah.
if you go in somewhere and you don't believe in yourself, it's already
Oh, for sure.
So when the expectation is not that, it's really bad.
Yeah.
But yes, it's emotional. But after, I just continue and like, okay, I will do. I know the next time. Like it's always learning.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I'm curious to see what you tell me about this because physically, I know you were even mentioning that earlier. You've been just because of your body type and density and so on, you tend to be a little small, a little shorter than at least than some of your last opponents. Advantage, disadvantage, or something in between? Would you say?
I'm used to work with that, so I think it's good now. But like there's both sides. I think both sides, but now I just do boxing, so for sure the reach, the taller girl have more reach, but
Right.
I'm used to have the shorter reach, and I there's solution to everything. So I work more, I pass under, it's more easy, and I put pressure. So that's my how I do it. But yeah, it's both, and I think it's to learn how to work with what you have.
Of course, to
Yeah.
maximize.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the day, there's no absolute strength or weakness. It's what you make of it and how you adapt to it, right?
Yes, exactly. But I'm really strong for a girl, so I know when I go body to body, I have the
Yeah.
advantage. Yeah.
How much endurance training do you do? Like long-winded endurance training do you do during camp?
Long endurance training, like conditioning session.
Yeah.
I have 3 conditioning session a week. But like between that, I have some sprint too, some just running. So normally I have boxing 5 or 6 days a week, and the conditioning 3 day, and maybe the 2 other day like run or sprint. So I always have a complement of the boxing training.
Of
Yeah.
course, of course,
Yeah.
of course. But you train steady year round.
Yeah, but not now. I'm not in training camp, but
Of course, of
I
course.
train at least 5 times a week, like 5 days a week. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the whole premise of stay ready so you don't have to get ready, right?
Exactly.
Also because you never know, right? I
Yeah.
mean, as a fighter, you never know
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you
yeah.
get a call. So
Exactly.
you,
So
you know.
we have to stay ready. We have to stay ready.
Yeah.
But like I think the worst is the diet. So now I'm used to eat good. Everything I buy at my house is just almost the thing in my diet. So it's more easy if I have a craving. I'm not eating whatever. I still eat good food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, people think that I've had this conversation with many athletes, but people think that somehow, athletes have this gift from above that you don't crave,
Yeah.
bad food and everything else, and somehow there's God-given discipline
Like it's
that's just
easy,
handed
no.
to you at birth.
Yeah.
And it's not true, right? Like you
No.
still have to struggle with all that stuff.
It's the lifestyle. I choose the lifestyle to be like, I choose this lifestyle, so I have to adapt everything for that. Yeah, but it's
For
not
sure.
easy. It's not
For
easy.
sure.
I do choice every day that I think, okay, for my sport.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. How has your training wise, but like mindset wise, especially, do you feel that there's been like a massive shift for you as you've transitioned from MMA to bare knuckle fighting? Like mentally, I mean.
Okay. For me, I think bare knuckle is more natural. Like the first bare knuckle fight I did, I was less stressful than in MMA.
Yeah.
Because, I was feeling more at my place. And like I told you, like when I was teenager, I did some fight in the street, so it was like return to the roots.
Of course.
Yes. So that's it. I know it's not like that. Bare knuckle is not for everyone. Like I saw some fight like Mike Perry against Luke Rockhold, and it was not for Luke Rockhold. I think he broke his jaw, loser one teeth. So,
Yeah, he took a
and
lot of damage in that
said
fight.
no, but like it's common that people lost the teeth in the fight. So it's not for everyone. But yeah, I think the mindset it's I have to be more careful in the fight for sure because you cannot do a lot more too much mistake because you're gonna be more damaged. So that's what I like to. It's more risky.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, several people have said this, right? That if you look at all modalities, especially of what's sort of caught fire the last few years, bare knuckle fighting is the purest fight.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's the closest thing to like an actual fight, right?
Exactly.
You get with a
Yeah.
fight, in a fight, it's somebody on the street. You're not going to say, well, hold on, let me put on my
Yeah.
gloves and
Yeah.
let me put on my helmet, right?
Yeah.
You fight.
Yeah.
So it's the purest
Yes.
art form.
Yes, but
You know?
see, it's been we fought all since so many years, like Spartan, everything. But it's just
Yeah.
new that it's legally people do legally.
Right.
But like there's another promotion. I don't know if you know what it is. The Kings of the Street. It's in Europe, but
No.
this is more crazy because it's a bare knuckle, but it's not even MMA. It's everything, no rules, and
wow.
no time in a round. It's until the people is knocked out or tap. So like this is really crazy. And I followed the page, and there's one time the photo, the guy is on the ground, and the other is the thumb in the eyes.
Of course, if
And
there's
like,
no rules.
it's right. No rule is no rule.
Wow.
So, yeah. So this is really, I think, this is the most craziest part.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you think? It's hard to tell what's going on in Canada, but do you think at some point the status is going to change in Canada for bare knuckle fighting, or no time soon?
For Quebec, the state of Quebec, I don't think, but they are trying hard to put this. But maybe in other states, yes, because they did in Edmonton, in Alberta. So it's already something done there. But I don't think in Quebec, not so.
No words. I tend to agree with you. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, let me tell you something. You can attest to that better than me, but the movement, we were talking about that even before we started filming, but the movement has really caught fire. Like bare knuckle fighting in general is really picking up a lot of traction.
Yeah.
You know?
Because the fight is impressive, like it's bloody, it's intense.
Yeah.
And like, yes, they're growing. Like Italia coming soon. They went to Dubai, to many places. So it's starting to be more accepted all in the world. And it's intense, but like it's still, there's still less, like in boxing, it's more hard for the brain. So there's more people who die in boxing. In bare knuckle, I think just one since the beginning.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. In fact, there's a lot of evidence, or there's some evidence at least, pointing to the fact that, gloves, particularly MMA gloves, may actually contribute to a lot more brain damage.
The MMA gloves?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was boxing.
Boxing too.
Yeah.
Because underneath it, obviously, as you know, right, there's very tight wrapping, which might as well be cement. And then you have a glove, and then you punch with a lot more abandon.
Yeah.
And not necessarily with bare knuckle fighting. Bare knuckle fighting, of course, leads to more superficial injuries.
Exactly.
But as far as brain health itself, it's a little different. It's the argument that that's been brought about also when you compare brain trauma from American football and rugby, right? The size of the athletes is very comparable. The difference is, the helmet sort of gives you a false sense of security. So even though it's technically illegal, you still have a lot of guys who tackle head first because they have a helmet.
Yeah.
You're not going to see that in rugby. They tackle each other hard, but they're not going to go in head first because they don't have a bloody helmet. They're not crazy,
Yes, I understand.
So that's been brought about, and there's a lot of controversy. The idea, it's more safer this and that to have. Well, not necessarily. That's not what the evidence seems to be showing.
Yeah.
As bare knuckle fighting expands, and obviously there's more volume of fights and this and that. I think we're going to start to see that more and more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously it doesn't hurt that Conor McGregor is backing it. So if I know one thing about Conor is that he doesn't do anything small, right?
Yes.
So anything he's going to do it big. So no question in my mind. If you look at the numbers for sure.
Yeah.
Even if you compare to 2, 3, 4 years ago where bare knuckle fighting was versus the notoriety and the exposure that it's slowly starting to get.
Yeah.
The fight purses are increasing a little bit, which obviously is going to draw more people. Because some people are unhappy. We were talking about that earlier too, but some people are unhappy. In the UFC, not to single out any organization, but for the sacrifice. For everything that they undergo, a lot of those guys and girls are saying, "Listen, we should be getting, we should be getting more money here."
But it's still hard. Even in bare knuckle, I know they paid a lot some bare knuckle fighter, but it's a little portion, like we thought some ex UFC fighter and things like that. Yeah. But it's still at the beginning. It's still not. A lot big pay, it's small.
Right.
So I think it's like that in almost every promotion.
Yeah, no, for sure. Talk to me about a controversial decision when you fought Christine Ferreira. Split decisions are complicated, particularly when you're fighting for the title, right? There's always this sentiment. Certainly, we see that a lot in MMA. But we're seeing that also in bare knuckle fighting. There's always this idea that you can't just win, like you have to dethrone them, but like sufficiently so, right?
Yes.
A lot of people feel like you won that fight.
Yeah.
A lot of people do. I think you do too.
Yes, me too. I feel like I won that fight, but like I will explain you how I see the fight now. It's a fight that there was missing action because we had a lot of respect of each other, of the power of each other, because she's used to knock her girl, I'm used to knock the girls too.
Yeah.
So, and there was a lot of mentality built, like a mentality game built during the training camp, and that's her game. So when we arrived in the ring, it was like just like that, and she did the thing. I wasn't initiating the attack, but there was missing action. And yes, like you said, there's like a rule non-right that you have to do more to dethrone the champion. So yes, even at the end of the fight, we heard her said, "Oh, I think I won," but like she wasn't sure. So yes, I want the rematch for sure.
Yeah.
And like this fight, for real, this fight, I wanted this fight. I was seeing the belt is mine. And I did a lot of things during the training camp that I never did. Every training camp, I try to do something more than the other every time. So for this fight, I was sure, like, I did a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like, even I saw a doctor in Canada because I had back problem. He told me to do some kind of thing neurological. I was doing it even like 5 times a day, a lot of effort.
Yeah.
And finally, the result was that. So it's a controversial decision because even 4 champions in the bare knuckle, they told me, you won that fight. So, but like, I think, I hope they're going to give me another rematch.
Yeah.
But But like I know people did enjoy the fight, so I don't know if they're gonna put me against her again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's the thing. That's where I am now. But I hope until the next year, I could have a rematch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that, and I know for sure that I've hated to see this in MMA, because I feel like across multiple organizations, but it's almost because there's been so much money thrown into it, it's become almost like a little
Yeah.
bit of a circus. You have
Yeah.
rankings, but then sometimes the matchmakers will make fights and you're completely sort of ignoring the ranking.
Yeah.
And I understand to some point, say, well, that's the fight that's going to sell more. That's the fight that people want to see.
Yeah.
But then why have a ranking?
Exact.
Then
That's
it should
true.
be like, the
That's true.
WWE. Or
Exact.
which is not, right? Like if there's a ranking, you have to
Yeah.
respect that ranking. If there's
Yeah.
somebody that deserves a fair title shot,
Yeah.
then they need to get that damn title shot.
That's true. Sometimes it's money, the fight to do, but like after this fight, they offered me a girl that she even not have one bare knuckle fight, right? But like I was thinking, make no sense because like I am the number one, and they want to offer to this fight the chance like to take my place.
Right.
And what they told me it was, okay, you're gonna have to fight this girl, win after fight the number 3. And after the winner of this fight, we'll have the chance to fight for the belt again. But like, why it take so long?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
like
yeah,
we did
yeah.
the split decision, so logically, it's supposed to be a rematch.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Besides, it's below your, like it's inappropriate for you and undeserving for her to get
Yeah.
a shot at the number one.
yes,
Right?
yes, exact, yeah.
So, but I mean, we're for sure, we're seeing people have been very critical of that in MMA. Like we've seen some people just completely bypass
Yeah,
their ranking and
Yeah.
get a shot. It's like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Just because they happen to draw this, or because they have this marketing thing or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I understand it's important. I get it, all of that. But come on.
Yeah.
Then why have rankings?
yes,
right?
exact. That's true. That's true.
So
Yeah, but yes, they are like that in I think in every promotion. They try to sell more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I know. What's the if you get this fight scheduled for August, let's say you don't, what's your mindset like as far as preparation, as far as do you continue going hard and say I'm staying ready, and when it happens and I'm prepared, and
If I don't have a fight in August, you said
yeah.
I will look for a boxing fight. I already talked with my manager and the matchmaker, maybe because they offered me the girl at that she doesn't have one
Yeah.
UFC fight. After they offered me to fight at 135.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I can look for that too. And like there's no champion. There's nobody who got the belt at 135.
Mm.
So I told them, what is the path for me if I want to have a championship fight at 135?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm ready
yeah.
to do it too.
Of course.
So, and like there's less girl. I think with what I see, the level is not as high as 125.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it can go faster too.
Yeah.
So maybe I will look for that. Or I will do a boxing fight. I'm supposed to have a boxing fight in June, at the end of June in Montreal.
All right.
Yes. So, but it's not official, but like I'm working on that now.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What do you think about I want as honest an answer as you can, which I know you'll give me, but about your sense of responsibility as a fighter, especially as a female fighter, to your country, to women, to a sport that's still sort of percolating
Yeah.
and literally, being born before our eyes. Is that something that you think about, or you just focused on, let me do what I do and the good will sort of pull people behind me? Or is that something intentional that you sit and think, no, God, this is what I want to sort of pull forward,
everything I do it because I want and because I feel I need to do it. The rest is following, but like I'm the only woman in the country in Canada to do bare knuckle. So, like I know I have like a not a big responsibility, but like I know
Yeah,
I
you
have
do. You do, for sure.
yes, and like for the title fight, it was like I felt like not I passed a little bit on the side, but like I know I had a lot of people behind me, and like it was bad. But yes, I think I can open the door, and like just even for men, like I had a lot of professional fighter in Canada that wrote to me and asked me, "Hey, I want to do bare knuckle too. How can I get in?" So yes, I think I have a big piece on my with me,
Yeah.
for that, for the bare knuckle, for the BKFC, because it's been not a long time that it's created, so I'm one of the first two.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yes, I think I have a big responsibility, but I feel good with that because normally I don't think about that. I just do what I like, what I love in life, and
Yeah.
if people like what I do, they follow. But I don't put pressure on me with that.
I think that's the healthiest and most productive mindset of that whole thing, right? I'm a big believer in that too. Like you do as much good as you can do in whatever way you can, and then you naturally let that goodness pull people, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you sit there and you think too much about,
Yeah.
being the savior, I think that
Yeah.
pressure can overwhelm you.
Yeah.
I'm from France originally, right? And even though French people tend to want to downplay the effect that sports has on their lives, the reality is that for very high elite athletes, French people live and bleed for them, right? And on the side of the athletes, I've seen it over the years, over many sports, it can go both ways. Like that fervor and that support can either propel them to do unbelievable things,
Yeah.
or I've seen some with amazing talent in tennis and soccer, whatever. They're sort of paralyzed by the weight of seeing,
Yeah.
like, I'm carrying 60 million
Yeah.
people on my back,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
now what?
Yeah.
So
they have too much pressure.
Yeah,
Yes, I
yeah. So you
understand.
have to just use the good. You have to let it
Yes.
propel you.
Yes.
But not otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Well, tell us a little bit. Tell everybody here. We're going to put the link somewhere. I don't know if they're going to be here. I have no idea. But where can people find you? Where can people follow you on different platforms? How do people get to see more of you?
I have my Instagram, jade.mason.wong. And my other, I can say, my own fan is the same, jade.mason.wong.
Okay.
So, yes, so I put everything for my fights on my Instagram.
Yeah.
And my own fan too. I have every kind of content, and even during the fight week and like more. So you can know more about me with those two platforms.
Follow. Again, I don't know where the link is, but it's going to be somewhere behind me, above me, whatever. Make sure that you do that. I want to thank you deeply for coming in, for giving us this. I think a lot of people are going to get a lot out of it. The big premise of this podcast is to really focus on how to extract the most out of all of us, right? Mentally, physically, performance-wise, on every level.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm always fascinated having these kinds of conversations with high performers. So I wish you luck. We're gonna do hopefully more of these
Yes, thank
in
you.
the future, especially now that you're local and that you're officially in South Florida. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank our sponsors: Power Boost, Smart Invest, Lux Galore Studios, Jungle House Studios. Follow, share, subscribe. All of that stuff. If you loved it, if you hated it, still follow, share, subscribe, all of that regardless. I'll see you guys here very soon. Later.